What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Now, this weekend I caught my second head cold of the year, and you can tell I'm kind of a deep voice and just kind of rough and blah blah blah. So I kind of hung out and kept it low key, a little chill. The good thing is I was clued into an app that lets you scan and upload your entire collection, and you can see what you have, what it's worth, all that good stuff. Now, there's been apps like that before, but they all cost money. And I don't play that game. I don't spend money for that kind of stuff. I have my own Excel spreadsheet that I keep. But this app is free 99, and you know I'm all about that lifestyle. So this app, of course, is called the major reveal. It's called Gameye. That's right. I'll get in close. There you go. This you can find on all the major app stores, but this one has a massive database of games collected. They have digital games, they have foreign games, they have games that are separated into crazy categories. You can find NES games under 3-screw or 5-screw. You can get very specific on what you get. You can also tell it if you have your box, if you have the manual, or if it's just the game itself. I love it. So anyway, my game collecting started back in like 1988. I think the first games I ever played were on the Atari in like 85. I had a neighbor that had one. But realistically, I started collecting games back, it was like 88 or 89 maybe. And that was, I'll show you right now. I have so many crazy memories, good memories of that short little time frame from like 88 to like 95. For the NES, that is. But that's really the core of my gaming memories, where they started. That's just where I got my first system. My older sister saved up money and bought an NES for herself for Christmas, but she let us all play it, of course. And that was the beginning of the end for me. I never realized just how absolutely amazing technology was. The Atari was cool and all, but I got tired of it really quick. Up to that point, we kind of just had, we were kind of not the richest family on the block, so we had used TVs from Goodwill and from other people, and they were always crap. And so my real foray in technology was old janky stuff. Some of it was black and white, some old, radios, and I didn't really think too much of it. But then we got an NES, and that changed my outlook on everything, and I was in love. And in fact, the first game I ever bought with my own money, I saved and I pinched and I pinched, and I physically bought this game at the local comic book store in our hometown because they had a back section of video games. And that, of course, was Dragon Warrior for the NES. That's right. This is the very first game that I ever physically bought for myself. And I played the living heck out of this game. I beat it so many times, even though it was the same thing again and again. I didn't care. At one point, I was like, let's just start killing gold golems and see if we can hit the gold cap and just do whatever. And then after that, about a year later, I had a birthday. And my parents, who were staunch haters of video games, they thought it was such a waste of time and money. And sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't, but that was their opinion. My dad said, what do you want? I said, I want a video game. He said, okay, I'll get you a video game, which really shook me to my core. I'm like, no, Dad, I want a video game. Like, you didn't hear me. But no, he was like, all right, I'll get you a video game. And so he went to that very same comic book store that I went to, and he went to the back and he said, give me your cheapest Nintendo game. And this is going to date me because at the time, this was the cheapest Nintendo game they had. And I think it was like $3 or $4. And this is it. This is my original one. It was Mega Man 2. But my dad walked in there and said, what's the cheapest game you got? And they said, Mega Man 2. And he said, fine. And they probably said, has he played Mega Man 1? My dad said, I don't care. Just give me that game. And so he got it for me. And I loved it. And I couldn't beat a boss to save my life. It took maybe 4 or 5 months before I could finally beat one boss. Because you understand, at that point, all I've been playing was like Mario Brothers, Dragon Warrior, and maybe a couple of basic ones like that. I hadn't really experienced what a Mega Man game was. And so it took a long time for me to finally beat even one boss. Now, that being said, coming up to today, literally today, on my way home from work, I stopped at Walmart to grab a couple things, and I bought a game. So this is, in fact, the last game I ever bought, which was maybe an hour ago. Sorry, you probably didn't see that. This is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I don't own this game, and it's on sale for like $9.99. The local Walmart is trying to get rid of all their older system games, i.e. the PS4 and the Xbox One and all that. So they're selling them for dirt cheap, and I don't have that one, so rock on. But yeah, from here to here, we're gonna upload my collection. I will say probably 90% of my games, probably 92% of my games, I did not pay full price. I got them late. I got them when they were on discount, but it took a lot for me to pay full price of a game. A, I was poor. B, I was cheap. And C, I knew relatively early that, man, you always want to hold off on games and find out if they're good or not. I got burnt, and so I didn't want to do it. So yeah, a lot of my games, and probably more than a third of these games I have gotten for less than $3. And that's being honest. I think the last game I bought full price was, I don't know, Fallout 4 back in like 2016, I think it was. Yeah, that was the last game I ever bought full price. But having said that, let's get on to collecting. I'm going to scan everything I can. The cool thing is about this app, the Gameye app, is that that's Gameye, Gameye. Sorry, I don't know if I came across that. I've head cold, apologize. You can scan it by the barcode on the game, or you can scan it manually, i.e. you enter the title and it gives you a drop down and you select. And I probably gonna have to do a lot of those because a lot of the Nintendo games without the book, or sorry, without the box, they don't have a barcode. So with all that said, let's wrap it up and let's start scanning these games, and I'll take you along on a quick journey and I'll get back to you and we'll talk about this as soon as I'm done. See you in a bit. I'm going to start this out by just showing you the systems that I have collected for and the ones that we will have to scan in. So we're going to start with the Nintendo line of video games and consoles. We'll start with, of course, the original, the Nintendo Entertainment System. And then we'll move on to the Super Nintendo and some Super Famicom games. The Nintendo 64. Let's get that out of the way. And then we move on to our disc systems, the Nintendo GameCube. Of course, the Nintendo Wii with Sesame Street, the Nintendo Wii U. Don't forget the handhelds, starting, of course, with the Game Boy, the Game Boy Color, the Game Boy Advanced, the Nintendo DS, and the Nintendo 3DS. Finishing off with the Switch. Next up, we have the Sega line of video games, and of course, we're going to start with the Sega Master System. Move on to the Sega Genesis. Push those out of the way. We got the Sega CD. Got some Game Gear. Some Sega Dreamcast. And a couple of Sega Saturn games. All right, moving on, we have the Atari systems. Of course, start with the Atari 2600. Move on to the Atari 5200, and of course the Atari 7800. But wait, there's more. There's also the Atari XE and the Atari Jaguar. Moving on to the Microsoft systems, i.e. the Xbox systems. We of course have the original Xbox. We of course have the original Xbox. We have the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One. Now my biggest collection, which would be PlayStation, starting with the PlayStation 1. Moving on, of course, to the PlayStation 2, which I think is my biggest collection by far. Next up, we have the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, I know, you guessed it, and of course the PlayStation 5. Got some handhelds here as well, i.e. the PlayStation PSP and the PlayStation Vita. And we're going to finish off with some of the single systems, little one-off stuff. We'll start with the Evercade system. I've got quite a few of those. I really enjoy playing those games. We also have some TurboGrafx 16 games. and some Tandy games. Yeah, that's right, GFL football. Here is ColecoVision. Let's see if we can get a better look at that. There you go. Also have some TI 99 games. Early learning fun. What a boring game. But anyway, we also have one Commodore 64 game. We have some Magnavox Odyssey 2 games, and we have some Intellivision games. But that's not all. We've got one more. I've got a couple of loose 3DO games hanging around. We'll count those as well. All right, it's been a day later because this took a long time for me to accomplish, but here we are with the total. I give you my personal collection of 1,700 games and a dead screen. 1,700 games. Now, do not get excited about that total. That total changes constantly. It goes up and down. So right now, as in this very second is recording, I've got about $24,722 in this collection. But it changes constantly. So that's nothing to brag about, because tomorrow I could lose $2,000. You never know. Anyway, yeah, 1,700 games on the dot. Very, very excited to learn that, because my personal Excel sheet was less than that. So there's a couple I forgot to add in. I haven't done my systems and my peripherals yet. I'll do those later on. I'm just worried about the games. But let's go into games. And so you can see all platforms. It starts out based by money, the highest. So right now, my highest costing game is not my highest costing. The one that would sell for the highest is a loose copy of Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo. And then after that, which is kind of amazing, it's my 3 complete in-box Silent Hills on the PlayStation 2 for $220, $159, and $150. I've got a loose Conkers as well. And yeah, there's a couple that I was impressed. There's a couple games that I saw the totals. I thought there's absolutely no way. But we can actually go down here to report, and it tells what systems have what. So we got a couple of systems that I only have, like the Jaguar. I only have one game in the Jaguar. That's also tied with the Atari XE. The C64 only got one, and the TurboGrafx, the TRS 80. I only have one of those as well. And then I think my biggest is, oh yeah, TurboGrafx 16. I also only have one game. I'm trying to expand those, but not easy to find. I think my biggest collection is my PlayStation 2 at 174. Yep, that is correct. So yeah, not too far behind is the PlayStation 3, but yeah. So we go from a couple systems with one to this bad boy who's dominating. So I'm very excited to know all this stuff. It probably means nothing to you guys because it's my collection, but it's kind of cool to know for me. You can go to Encyclopedia, you can check out all these things, you can go to upcoming. It shows you games that are coming up, i.e. upcoming. But yeah, that's my report. 1,700 games on 43 different systems right now. So that was well worth it. I'm excited. I'm going to go to bed giddy tonight, and then I'll wake up with that total being significantly less, and that's just how the game is played. Okay, I just want to show you guys how easy it is to add a game in this app. So we're going to go to games. Okay, if you see on here, we got that blue plus. So we're going to select that, and it's going to say either manual select or barcode scanner. So we're going to go to barcode scanner, and we'll do one of each. We're going to take the game I just bought today. Okay, let me get it in view. Boom. So it just selected it, and it showed, you just missed it, but it said Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So I'm going to go to items and queue, and that's the one. So I'm going to tell it I've got the game, I've got the manual, and I had the box. And then we'll go to confirm, and it just added the game. So now what about games without barcodes? Okay. Take this Nintendo Back to the Future. So what we're going to do then, select add, select manual select, and then it gives us its directory. We type in Back to the Future, and the very first one that pops up is right there. So we're going to select that. We got the check mark. It means it's been added. And then we go to add items. Same one. We only have the game on this one. So we select game, confirm. There you go. And it's now in our selection. That is how easy it is to add your games to this app. I absolutely love it. So there you have it. There's decades worth of collecting on my behalf. So what do you guys think? Is this an app that you would love to use? Is it something that you want to know about, or would you rather not know how much some of these games are worth? There's a couple games, I'll be honest, I thought, man, this game right here is going to be big time, and it was not big time. It was actually pretty junk. And if you're like me, you don't collect to resell. I think I've sold maybe 4 or 5 games in my life. The first time I did it, I felt bad because I'm like, man, I want that game back. So I decided I'm never doing it again unless it's absolute garbage. And there's been a couple games that were absolute garbage that I said, I don't want anything to do with these games. So let me know what you guys think. Would you be interested in getting this app, downloading it yourself, and figuring out what you have, what kind of collection you got? Or do you not have a collection like me where you just don't care, it's not really big, and it's in the back of your mind? As always, thank you for watching the video. You can get a hold of me at retrobanggaming@gmail.com. If you guys like it, give it a thumbs up, give me a comment, let me know what you think. Of course, take some time to play a video game this week. It doesn't have to be one of these 1,700, but why the heck not? It's a pretty safe bet it'll be one of these 1,700 games that I own. Be good people, be good to those around you, and keep on gaming.